Hi, I'm April at Farmer John's Greenhouse. I'm the nursery manager here, and today we're going to be talking about preparing your garden beds, trees, shrubs, perennials for winter. The most important thing is to maintain watering up until when the ground freezes, especially for evergreens. So this year we've been getting a lot of rain, so you might not need to supplement a lot. Newly planted things will need more water than established plants. The evergreens especially need to be hydrated all the way up until when the ground freezes, because the wind and the sun can pull moisture from their leaves and they can't get it from anywhere else because the ground is frozen, and that's when you get that winter dieback or brown out of the foliage. Check your soil a few times a week. It should be moist about 1 inch down. If it's starting to dry out, then you want to put the hose on low and give a nice deep soak to the root balls when you water. Okay, so other tips for helping your evergreens over winter. I recommend spraying neem oil on your boxwoods and dwarf Alberta spruces to kill off spider mites so they don't overwinter. Both boxwoods and dwarf Alberta spruces are more predisposed to those, so spraying them in the fall helps decrease the insect load come next spring. Okay, also to help protect evergreens, burlapping is a good idea, especially if they're newly planted. Again, this helps prevent the wind and the sun from pulling moisture out of those leaves during the winter when everything's frozen. So when you go to burlap your evergreens, you don't want to put the burlap directly on the plants, because having that burlap on the leaves will pull moisture out of them as well. So you want to use wooden stakes, and you just pick the height that is appropriate to the size of the tree or shrub that you're burlapping. You don't need to go over the top of the shrubs, but you do want to go as tall as the shrubs are. So you put the stakes in and then staple the burlap to the stakes and make a fence around the trees or shrubs. You don't have to, if they're against a house, you don't have to do the side that's against the house. But if they're out in the open, you want to do a burlap all the way around. Another thing I recommend doing is wrapping young trees. So trees that are less than 5 years old, it's a good idea to wrap the trunk. So you start at the bottom by the roots, and then you just take the tree wrap all the way up until the first set of branches. Tree wrap's important because it helps prevent frost crack, which is where the trunk warms up when it's sunny out and then freezes again, and you can get big cracks in the trunk. It will also prevent animal damage, so from animals eating the bark to deer rubbing their antlers on the bark. So it's a good idea, especially, like I said, on young trees that are about less than 5 years old. So one of the most commonly asked questions we get in the nursery during the summer is why my hydrangea isn't blooming. The macrophylla hydrangeas or big leaf hydrangeas, are the ones with the big pink or blue blooms, depending on the acidity of your soil, do require in Michigan some winter protection to increase the blooming for the following year. So please check out the video by Endless Summer, and it goes over how you can increase your chances of blooming next spring. Last thing I'm going to talk about is pruning. I recommend not doing any major pruning in the fall. You can always prune dead out of trees and shrubs, but I would wait until early spring to do any major pruning. Pruning always stimulates growth, and depending on our temperatures in the fall, you don't want any new growth to appear and then not have time to harden off before winter. Also with perennials, I recommend leaving all the plant material from this year in your garden through winter. First of all, it helps beneficial insects over winter. They use that old growth to survive the winter and nest in, and it also gives an insulatory layer for the roots of the perennial. The only time you would want to remove that plant material is if there was a disease or pest issue, then you're going to want to take that out in the fall and dispose of it. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any further questions, please come see us at Farmer John's.